Hey Aquarius, thank you for checking out your weekly forecast for November 15th through the 21st. Now, I am setting the intention for the week ahead. However, we do have a lunar eclipse happening in Taurus, lunar eclipse in Taurus happening on the 19th. So anytime there's eclipse energy, it's energy that's going to be around for a while. So even though we're reading for the week ahead, this might be something that you guys might be experiencing over the next few months for some of you. But we're going to connect here and see what messages are coming in for the Aquarius collective. 1, 2, 3. One more shuffle here. I just like to make sure that the cards are very thoroughly shuffled. So we're going to see what's coming up. First card coming up here, Aquarius, is the Page of Swords. This can definitely be you and your energy as an air sign. Now, it is a page. So having the Page of Swords come up for an air sign person can have the feeling or the sense of like a returning to youthfulness. You know, maybe some of you are feeling a little bit more youthful or sentimental about the younger times, or some of you might be going through like music you listened to back in the day, or your old dreams or your old ideas. Now, traditionally speaking, Page of Swords is gonna be sometimes gathering information, doing reconnaissance work. So maybe some of you are taking an idea or a dream and you're like, okay, well, what do I have to do to make this work? How can I make this happen? Where might be a good spot to set up camp, and so on and so on. I do see Page of Swords come up a lot when there's a situation where you're being pushed to speak up for yourself, or there's an unblocking in the throat chakra, and that might be something that some of you are experiencing. Page of Swords can also come up at times when you may have somebody trying to get information about you over the internet or online. So be a little bit cautious, Aquarius. If excuse me, how very funny, I just got done talking about the throat chakra unblocking, and then I have a cough attack, excuse me. But as I was saying, be cautious, Aquarius. Some of you may have somebody online that's trying to chat you up. And just from my experience, something that I have noticed over the years reading for people, Page of Swords sometimes comes up for me when there's somebody that you know in real life who is making a fake profile and trying to get in and try to talk to you, like try to get information. Sometimes it could be an ex or a frenemy, or you know, someone who's just trying to find out things that they know you're not going to tell them. So be aware and be cautious of this, because it's happened to me a few times that it's come up and the person has told me, oh, no way, Amethyst, you know, I'm very careful who I take friend requests from, or who I have on my social media. I know who's there. And a few times I've had people contact me later and say, oh my gosh, you know what, it actually happened. There was someone I hadn't thought of, and I came to find out it was my ex-boyfriend or my ex-girlfriend or like whatever. So I've seen it happen a couple of times. Just be aware what you're sharing with people. I know sometimes it can feel safer to confide into like a complete or total stranger, because you're like, well, they don't know me and they don't know my life and they don't know the people that I'm talking about, so it feels like a safe place to kind of vent. But for some of you, you might be venting to somebody that actually, you know, knows you and they're getting all the tea. So be careful what you're saying and what you're sharing with people. Any Aquarius who's working on something creative or something that you're planning on launching, I feel like the Page of Swords is saying be careful or be cautious who you're showing it to. I know sometimes there's like these online groups where it's like, post your music and we'll rate it. Post your poetry and we'll rate it. And you might think, oh, well, this is a really great space for me to get some feedback and try things out before I put it out there. But I feel like you need to be cautious in that some of you could actually have people taking your ideas. So maybe it's not a good idea to share it in certain groups, right? Like, we'll rate it. We'll tell you what we think, I know you might want the feedback, but it's not worth risking your work and ownership of your work. So be aware of that. Your next card coming up here, Aquarius, is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands for me comes up to basically say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep taking the steps that you're taking. You're on the right path. There's no need to be extra right now. There's no need to change course or change ship. Maybe some of you are wanting a faster result and you're like, okay, well, how can I speed it up? And Spirit is saying, just keep doing what you're doing. Another thing here with the Seven of Wands, sometimes I see this card come up again with a little bit of a warning that you might have people who are trying to distract you or pull you into arguments or disagreements. A lot of the times it's because somebody sees you like coming up or changing, and they have this fear like they're going to lose you or they're going to lose control of you, and they're going to try to pull you right back down into the pit, right back down into that sad, hopeless place so that you don't move on or, you don't leave them behind. It can also be sometimes people who feel threatened or intimidated by you, like a coworker or somebody who's like, they're aggravating you, they're antagonizing you, they keep kind of like poking at you, figuratively speaking, again and again and again and again, and until you just get to the point where you go off on them. And they're like, oh, can you believe what Aquarius said to me? Can you believe Aquarius blew up on me like that? I told you Aquarius was mean. I told you Aquarius had a horrible temper, right? But like in the whole time they've been instigating this. And so the Seven of Wands comes up to me like, just be cautious. Be careful. Be careful what you're sharing with people. Be careful what you're telling people. When people are aggravating you, know that they're doing it to get like a rise or a reaction out of you. Disconnect, walk away. Don't give them what they want, right? This is just distraction after distraction. You're headed to a big breakthrough. You're headed to big changes, and the old energy doesn't want to let you go and is trying to hold on to you very desperately. But it's up to you to continue moving forward, right? And in terms of like standing up for yourself or protecting yourself, there's not a whole lot you have to do. Like when you're looking at the Seven of Wands, all he needs to do is stay where he's at, and he's good. Eventually they're going to lose steam and they're going to walk away. They're going to go and find some other fight or some other drama to get involved in. Eventually they're going to get bored. If he's just standing there and he's not responding to them, they're going to get bored. They're going to lose the wind from their sails, and they're going to find some other chaos to create elsewhere. So all you really need to do is just be in that quiet stance. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to argue with anybody. You don't have to reason with anybody. You don't have to convince anybody of anything. Just kind of stay your ground and do your thing, and let them tire themselves out. The next card that's coming up here for Aquarius is the Empress. This has come up for a few of the signs. I know Virgo was one of them. I don't know if it was... I feel like one of the water signs got it. I don't know if it was Cancer. You guys will have to let me know in the comments if you know. But this card has come up a few times. And so there could be something happening in the collective energy here with the Divine Feminine and increasing of divine feminine energy. Traditionally speaking, the Empress can be like motherhood and fertility. Now, that's kind of somewhat connected to love readings, and I keep the love readings separate on my channel. I'll do a weekly forecast, and once a month I'll do a love reading. And I have the link to the love readings in the description of this video. If you want to watch the love readings after this, you can. So I'm not going to go too much into like relationships or love life. It can be for some of you pregnancy or fertility that you might be manifesting, because that is one of the traditional meanings of the Empress. But the Empress is also divine feminine energy. So you may be increasing or balancing out your divine feminine energy. You may be calling in divine feminine energy into your life. There could be an Empress kind of person coming in for you. If you have a Taurus or Libra placement, there can be big changes happening for you in those areas of your life, or in that house or houses. Empress also can be a deceased mother or mother figure, or ancestors from your mother's side of the family coming in to guide you through messages, through dreams, and some of you may be experiencing that as well when we see the Empress. These are general readings, so it's going to come up for you guys in different ways, because these cards have many layers. But overall, the Empress is very powerful energy, and for me in my readings, she can come up a lot of the times to indicate self-employment, or like great advancement, great success, long-term success, steady success, right? And again, it's very kind of funny to have it follow the Seven of Wands, because I was just talking about how you're protecting yourself simply by just having this quiet stance. And the Empress is highly respected. People fear disappointing her or letting her down. They respect her, they have her up on a pedestal, they are in service of her, and they shudder to think of ever disappointing her or upsetting her, out of the sheer respect that they have for her and not wanting to disappoint her, right? She's not like the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland, where she's like, off with their head. They're not afraid of disappointing her because they're scared she's going to hurt them. They're terrified of hurting her. So she is very powerful, but also very gentle. Very gentle, very loving, very nurturing. So again, Aquarius, I feel there's this sense here of like coming into this power, but also being in your gentleness. Power doesn't have to come through shouting or yelling or being the biggest, baddest, scariest person around, or the best fighter, It doesn't have to be that way. It's just simply by having this dignified energy, this respectful energy. And I feel, Aquarius, that a lot of you are finding that you're commanding respect quite easily. Whereas maybe in the past it felt like pulling teeth. And now you're rising above that. You're coming out of that. The next card coming up for Aquarius is the Nine of Pentacles. Now, Empress can sometimes be self-employment for me. Nine of Pentacles definitely is one of my self-employment cards. So some of you might be seeing a lot of growth or movement in a personal endeavor or project, or a business that you've kind of started here. Nine of Pentacles also is going to indicate here financial independence and success. It is a card that comes up a lot of the times when you're getting positive attention, you're being watched, you're being studied. People are making note of you, right? They're seeing you come up, they're seeing you succeed. And Nine of Pentacles for me sometimes comes up in readings where we might be taking up something that failed in the past. Maybe we're going into a certain position or a certain career that we thought was too overwhelming before, or we're kind of resurrecting a project or a business that kind of crashed and burned before. But we realized that the reason why it failed in the past is because we were in like this super duper overdrive anxiety. We were constantly worried. We were constantly judging ourselves. We were constantly having a hard time focusing because of the things that were happening in our personal life. But now that we've gotten a control over our anxiety, now that we're in control of it and we're able to stay grounded and stay out of our head, now we're picking it up again, and this time around we're going to be successful. This time around it's going to work out because we have a mastery over that anxiety, that anxious mind. And so I feel a lot of you are having a chance to kind of redeem yourself with something that maybe in the past failed, but like you're getting a do-over or a second chance, and this time you're knocking it out of the park, so to speak. You may want to check out your moon sign or rising sign. Some weeks your moon sign or rising sign might resonate more for you than your sun sign. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Have a wonderful week, my dears. Take care.